Welcome to another installment of What's Your Favorite Movie? My name is Ed South, and yes, we are missing a theme song this week. We had a lot of technical difficulty in the studio today, but we are pressing on, and we'll just have to do without a theme song. I'm very sorry, folks, but please bear with us. You can sing the theme song in your head if you want. So welcome to this show. This is what we're calling Season 2 of What's Your Favorite Movie. We had some trouble over the summer keeping things going. A shout out to Diana for bailing us out more than once. But I got a lot of episodes lined up. I got some great guests here. And we're going to press on with a musicless Season 2. So let's go, huh? Join the conversation on Twitter at WYF Movie Podcast. If you want to email us, favemoviepodcast@yahoo.com. And there's also Facebook and Instagram as well. In episode 27 of the show, we had our favorite movie road trip, and we talked about all the different kinds of places that you can go to celebrate your love of movies. Festivals, shooting locations, and in the case of the Mountain Lake Lodge in Virginia, the Dirty Dancing weekend, where you could celebrate your love of Dirty Dancing for over 48 consecutive hours. And our guest today in the studio is Jackie, who went to the Dirty Dancing weekend at Mountain Lake Lodge. Jackie, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, and it's so great to finally be here and catch up with an old friend.
Yes, Jackie and I went to college together, and it's been like 20 many years.
Yes.
And but we've had some time to catch up because we actually recorded this entire episode about an hour ago, and the computer crashed. So we're going to do it differently, and we'll just press on, and it's all good. But,
good times.
But everything will be totally fresh and new, and the jokes will be just as funny the second time around.
That's right.
So Jackie is a realtor now. You work for...
I work for the Bob Lucido team of Keller Williams Integrity in Baltimore. I do in Carroll County, Howard County, Baltimore County. So if anybody is looking to buy or sell or even rent a house, I'm your girl.
There you go. And if you mention the What's Your Favorite Movie podcast, you'll get 20% off your first house from Jackie.
So maybe not so much 20%, but we'll work something out.
A smile.
That's right.
You'll get a free smile from Jackie.
Right.
So, yeah, I always like when I can get a friend who I know is like into movies a lot, and I know you enjoy your movies. You're a big movie and music fan, and we have a lot of movie memories from our college days. A lot of you and I are responsible for a lot of screenings of Aladdin at parties.
Yes.
When I tell people that, like, yeah, we used to watch Aladdin at parties all the time. They're like, what kind of parties were you having? And it's
the
like,
best parties ever.
Yes, the best parties community colleges students can have in their parents' house.
The little Boone's Strawberry and Aladdin. I mean, that's a good time.
That's a party right there.
That's right.
And one thing I remember, though, is your parents were out of town one weekend or something, and this story has nothing to do with parents being out of town, but I think there was like a snowstorm or something, and a bunch of us were able to get together, and we sat in your parents' bedroom because like the TV in the living room was broken, and like 6 or 7 of us watched Dumbo sitting on your parents' bed.
Oh, okay. So it's not that my parents' TV was broken. It's because the VCR was in my parents' bedroom.
Ah, that was it. Yes.
So yeah, if it was at my house, that's probably
so
why.
Wait, growing up, the VCR was always in your parents' room, and
It was, but we had a little hookup thing in the den where we could switch it so you could see things in there. But I don't know if something just wasn't working at the time, and honestly, I can't even remember that night. But you said it happened, so it must have.
If I said it happened. Well, I think what happened was a lot of times in college, people would be like, in my whole life, like, I've never seen fill in the blank Disney movie, and then I'm like shocked, and then I have to somehow get it playing in front of their face. So.
And then there's a party.
Yeah, and then there's a party with what was that wine called? Boone's.
Boone's Strawberry Hill.
There you go.
Boone's
Good.
Farm.
That's the expensive stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jackie and I are just catching up here, and then she told me this incredible story about the movie Liberty Heights, which is from 1999, directed by Barry Levinson, and you were on the set of Liberty Heights.
I was on the set. Well, for a part of it. So my friend Jody, my good friend Jody, growing up, our family lived in Pikesville, and their neighborhood was full of houses that had that kind of mid-century modern feel to it, and hers definitely had it. So Barry Levinson, I guess his team was scouting locations for certain scenes and sent a letter to everybody in my friend's neighborhood, and her parents I think are the only ones that responded. So some of the scenes of the movie actually filmed at my friend Jody's house, and I was there when they were filming it. It was super cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you got to see Barry Levinson in action.
I did, in his chair and everything.
Oh wow, like the director chair.
In the director chair, and it was it was pretty surreal to be on a movie set, and then to actually see the movie when it came out, and to see my friend's house on screen was, a house that I pretty much had almost grown up in myself.
Yeah.
It's definitely surreal.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And like one of my favorite things about movies is that it takes you back to a certain time when the movie came out, but that movie takes place in the past. So you're looking at your friend's house from your childhood, but it's 20 more years past than you would remember.
Right.
Like, I don't know when that movie takes place.
I think it's like the early 60s or late 60s or something. It's around like civil rights era.
Oh, okay.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
something like that.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
Pretty
well,
cool.
That certainly beats my story of my day on the set of Thomas and the Magical Railroad. But
everyone has their glory moments.
yes, this is true. You went to the Major League 2 filming. That's right. We were there the same night. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm in the movie.
Yes.
Did you ever find yourself?
In the movie. No, I don't even know if I even saw the movie, to be honest with you.
Well, it makes no sense to me because I've never seen one. But yeah, you can see me behind third plate with our good friend Marvin from back in the day.
Ah, Marvin.
There's a name from the past.
That's
yes.
right.
Good times. So let's talk about this Dirty Dancing weekend that you went to. And the funny part was you said it's not even really a favorite movie of yours.
It's not. It's a great movie. Don't get me wrong. I've seen it a bazillion times, maybe a bazillion and one.
There you go.
But yeah, I wouldn't say it's at my top 5 or anything, but it is definitely a movie I could watch over and over again, and I have, and I'm sure I will continue to do so. But I think it's fun just to just get into the nostalgia of it, just to go to a themed weekend, especially with a couple girlfriends who also love the movie, and just to be surrounded by fans of the movie, and just really enjoy the experience of it all. So
yeah. So that's how you basically ended up there. It was more of a girls' weekend than just like a pilgrimage to go see where Patrick Stewart, where my former neighbor Patrick Stewart, Patrick Swayze.
That's a whole nother
That would be a great movie,
podcast.
Patrick Stewart in Dirty Dancing. Yes.
Engage.
Don't put baby in a corner. Engage.
Oh, good times.
So Dirty Dancing was filmed primarily at the Mountain Lake Lodge in Pembroke, Virginia, which is where you went, right?
Yes, which actually, if anybody is a Hokie fan of, Virginia Tech, it's very close to where Virginia Tech's campus is. So, literally right next door to it.
And you did the Kellerman's Backstage Pass as the name of the...
Well, that's what they gave us. They gave us a lanyard.
That's what their website says the name of the package is. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, anybody can go up there at any time, but yeah, they have the specifically themed weekends, throughout the summer. For certain one weekend every month, I think, of the summer that you can go. And we were going to go last year, but they were sold out at the time. So we made sure to plan to go this year. It was supposed to be me and 3 good friends of mine, but one of them unfortunately could not go with us. So it was just me and 2 girlfriends. But we all had a really good time. It was, fun packed. It was kind of cold and rainy and chilly. But, we made the best out of it.
So the itinerary, where's your little tag? So you got
So I got a little lanyard.
A name tag.
Yes.
I didn't even inspect this yet. Well, why don't I
So it's like
it? It's like a concert thing that
it's
you
like
would
a
get.
backstage pass looking thing.
Yeah.
Nice little laminate
with lots of nice clip art on it.
Yeah, and then
a picture of not Patrick Swayze not holding up not Jennifer Grey.
Right, fake news. But then it's got the itinerary on the back, and from what I remember, because this was back in July, we checked in, we had dinner.
So let's go through it here.
Yeah.
Did you check in? You checked in at 4:00 Friday night.
We probably got there like 5-ish,
right.
Something. I don't know. It took from Baltimore. It took us 5.5 hours.
Oh
to
my
get
goodness!
There. Yeah, it's quite a drive.
Yikes!
So yeah, and then the last 6 miles of it is all the way up a mountain.
Oh my goodness!
So if you've got 4-wheel drive, that's a good thing. If you don't, you might want to get one.
You got to imagine them bringing all the trucks with all the equipment up.
And that was when they were scouting it. And that's an interesting story too. Is when they were scouting the location, they didn't really think that it was going to work because they didn't think it looked. It didn't look as much like the Poconos, I guess, that they wanted to.
Right, the Catskills.
The Catskills.
Yeah, it's supposed to take place in the Catskills.
So well, this isn't a mountain resort. This is, it doesn't look like what it needs to be. But somehow there's a whole story behind it that I honestly can't remember. But yeah, to take the trucks up there and down. They were only up there for maybe a couple of weeks, I think, if that, to do their filming. But it was quite a haul.
An ordeal for them.
An event.
It is. this is like one of the big classic films of the last 30 years, but it was a small production. It only cost like $6 million to make, I think, and
something like that.
But then went on to make like $235 million. So 8 o'clock, you had Dancing at the Gazebo.
So they did everything else. They did everything inside because it was rainy and cold. They moved everything that was going to be outside indoors. So there's a place on the property called Mary's Barn that they had built, I think, sometime in the 90s. Much after the movie was filmed, that I think is supposed to resemble, the
feel of the
ballroom.
movie. Yeah,
right.
Okay.
But it's much smaller though. So, but anyway, so they had the dancing in there. They kind of had these what they call professional dancers, but they kind of look like as amateur as you can get.
Right.
Bless their hearts, they did a great job. But they pretty much had
the talent pool in Pembroke, Virginia is probably not that large
slim.
to get a Patrick Swayze lookalike.
Yeah, so they had from the music from the movie, they did different dances to them, to the different songs that were throughout the movie. So it was kind of that, and then obviously just everybody was just doing dancing as well, and they had a costume contest, and they had this great couple, or I guess these two women actually, young women who dressed up as the Schumachers, who were dead ringers for the little couple who were stealing everyone's wallet.
Couple that were stealing the wallet. Okay.
Right. So, but it was a good time. A lot of different variations of Baby.
Right.
A lot of different
Johnnies.
A lot of different Johnnies. They had a female Johnny, which was interesting. They had a couple of Pennies. Maybe like a Lisa or two, but yeah, it was very interesting. They actually had one lady who was dressed, if anybody really knows the movie well, they had somebody who was dressed as Jamie the lifeguard. If you don't know who Jamie the lifeguard is, think back to the scene where the Mr. Kellerman's son or whatever is taking Baby to the gazebo and talking to her and telling her a story about how he, was dating a girl there, and I guess the girl was also dating Jamie, or he took her away from Jamie the lifeguard. You don't actually see Jamie the lifeguard, but Jamie the lifeguard is mentioned. So, One time. And so this person actually dressed up as a lifeguard with the name Jamie on the back of their shirt. That is
amazing.
And that was pretty interesting and very
Jamie the lifeguard cosplay.
Yes, very thought-provoking.
That's awesome. Did she win?
No.
Just the one winner.
The Schumachers won.
The Schumachers.
Yeah, she was with the Schumachers though.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well, then they were thinking outside the box from minute one.
Absolutely.
And then 10 o'clock, Dirty Dancing movie on the front lawn, which they had to move inside.
Yes, they moved it inside, but it was, again, watching the movie with all those fans, and some of them, have maybe had a few drinks beforehand, but, watching the movie and singing the songs out loud with everybody, and everybody screaming when Johnny hits the scene.
That's awesome.
And it was a good time. It was just a big party watching the movie.
Yeah, because, usually you want to watch a movie quietly. If you go to, I've go to these old movies where you go see, the 35th anniversary of such and such in the theater or whatever. And actually last night I saw Star Trek 2 in the theater, the 35th anniversary of Star Trek 2. And you kind of want to call out the words, but you don't know what the crowd is. But when you're at something like this, where everybody obviously has seen the movie 500 times,
it had a Rocky Horror-ish kind of audience participation feel to it, if you will. So
no squirt guns, though.
No squirt guns, no toast, no newspapers. There's another great movie, is Rocky Horror Picture Show. Makes no sense, the movie, but you go to it for the experience for sure.
So then Saturday, Breakfast in Harvest. So is that the restaurant that they show in the movie quite a bit?
Mm-hmm. So that's the main restaurant there, and they had buffet meals for everything, and everything was delicious, but nothing was themed or anything.
They didn't have the little cards on the table that said Baby's Meatloaf or Johnny Castle's Scrambled Eggs, or
no, that would have been kind of cute and cheesy, but they did not do that. I think
they could have had baby carrots.
There you go.
And put them all in the corner of the tray.
Then everybody would be, nobody puts baby carrots in the
corner.
Nobody
puts baby carrots in the corner. Well, they could have had the tray of carrots with none in the corner.
Right.
And then it would have just
then everyone would walk by.
It would have been amazing.
Yes.
Now, when you think Dirty Dancing, everyone thinks of lawn games, of course. 10 o'clock to 11:30, lawn games.
So there were some people, again, it was cold and rainy, so some people were out there doing watermelon something or other. I don't know. They were doing something with watermelons. Carrying watermelons or whatnot. My girlfriends and I decided to keep it indoors, and we played bingo on these old-style bingo cards that had to be from the 40s. Not with chips. It was just the card itself, and there was a little slider.
The sliders,
each number.
Okay, yes.
They looked like they were made in the 50s.
Old school.
Yes, but super fun. Super fun.
Do they play bingo in the movie?
Who knows? Extras probably did.
Oh, yeah.
But I guess not really a long game, but it was a game.
True.
Yeah.
And then the film location tour,
So we did that, and they have different
which is
spots.
oddly only a half hour, which you would think would have been the biggest attraction of the day, but half hour.
But the property is not as big as I think they make it seem in the movie. Also, like things were pretty close to each other, in relation to each other, I guess. So it's not that big of a campus at all. So yeah, certainly you could take about a half an hour to walk to all the different scenes. And the other thing to think about is that not all of the movie was filmed there. So
Right.
most of it was filmed there, but not all of it.
It was filmed in South Carolina.
North Carolina.
North Carolina. I
Yeah.
always get my Carolinas mixed up.
Yeah.
So one thing that I was most excited about was the little bridge that you see a couple of times. One where she has the conversation with the dude while they're carrying those watermelons, which by the way are enormous watermelons. If you're next time you watch that movie, look at those watermelons. Those are humongous, 1963 style humongous watermelons.
Right.
But then later she's like practicing dancing on that little bridge by herself.
Right, and that was actually filmed in North Carolina. And from what I understand, that bridge and those stairs that were leading up to that cabin are I guess decrepit and falling apart, and nobody
fix
can
it
really
up.
nobody can really see it anymore. I guess I don't know. Maybe the place itself is just not so is not well maintained. But yeah, that place apparently is falling apart.
They should have like a historical landmarker thing on it.
Maybe they do.
The
So
the
you can
place
find it.
in North Carolina
North Carolina.
that where the other half of the movie was filmed, they also do a Dirty Dancing weekend once a year. Like they have like
Oh.
a big festival
Okay.
down there.
Well, I know at this for Pembroke in Virginia, they had, I think maybe the weekend or a week before we went there, they actually did like the 30th anniversary big block party.
Oh wow.
In the town. So
cool.
I did see something like that or something, some coverage of it on their Facebook page, on the Mountain Lake Lodge Facebook page. So
How is this movie 30 years old?
I don't know, because we're not 30 years old
No,
yet, so that can't be.
We're in our early 20s
That's
still.
right.
How is anything 30 years old?
Nothing is. We're still
It's either
young.
from before we were born or it's new. 30 years old.
That doesn't make sense to me.
That's insane. This movie is 30 years old.
Ugh.
I did the math the other night when I was watching it. So this takes place in 63. It came out in 87. So that time difference would be like a movie made now took place in 1994 or something like that, which is ridiculous.
So what came out in 94?
What came out but do you know what I mean?
Oh,
like
yeah.
if a movie was made now that took place
right.
in the past,
right.
it would take place in 94, which doesn't seem that far off.
Right.
But
it seems
in
like
80,
it was like 5 years ago.
in
but
87, 63 was like ancient history.
Right.
Maybe that's just because we were born in the early 70s.
That's exactly
but
right.
That's ridiculous.
Yes.
So that's nuts. So anyway, so we have the film location, and so the bridge is not there.
The bridge is not there. The lake location is there, but the water is no longer in the lake. There's
So it's
some
not a
sort
lake,
of,
technically.
It's not a lake. It used to be a lake, and I think it's still, they still call it a lake, even though there's no water in it. But there's like bushes and trees and grass or whatever. Apparently some sort of natural spring phenomenon that the water recedes into the earth every something. They call it the mystery of the lake. So it somehow recedes back into the earth and comes back, I don't know, every couple
The
of
water
decades.
recedes out every time they do a remake of Dirty Dancing. So you were there right after the TV version came out.
They
and-
scare the water away.
Yeah. And the actual corner of nobody, is it nobody or no one?
Nobody puts baby
Nobody
in the corner.
puts baby in a corner.
Yes.
The corner in question here is not actually at this place.
It is not there, and I don't know if it was in North Carolina or if it was a movie set somewhere in Hollywood.
Where's the corner?
We don't know. We don't know the corner. We
But
don't
you
know.
said you knew that ahead of time going in.
We knew that ahead. Well, I knew about the bridge and the
Okay.
stairs and the cabin where they did the Dirty Dancing, and the cabins where the staff stay.
All
like,
the iconic moments are not there where the Dirty Dancing weekend was.
The gazebo is there.
The gazebo.
The lake where they did the lift, but even though it's not really a lake because it's just ground, is there. Although, here's an interesting fact that I did learn there, is that the lake, there's actually apparently some sort of couple cinder blocks that are still there, which
Oh,
is
wow.
where Patrick Swayze stood
stood
on
up
because
to-
the lake, I guess, was so deep, they needed to stand on something. So the cinder blocks are still there where he stood.
Nice.
In the spot where they did the lift. And also they kind of had to take far shots, or I guess they couldn't get close-ups of it because it was so
Right.
cold that Jennifer Lipps Jennifer Grey's lips were purple.
And you could
blue
see
purple.
their breath.
You could see
coming
their
out,
breath,
probably.
yes. So they didn't get too close up the shots there.
I watched the movie 2 nights ago, and it had a trivia track on the DVD, so it said that, but you stole my notes, so it's all good. But
Sorry.
nah, it's all good. So I would imagine quite much like at the Alamo, where everyone constantly asks for the basement, everyone always asks for the corner at Kellerman's, and then they...
I honestly
There's
didn't
no
hear
corner at Kellerman's.
I honestly didn't hear a lot of people even asking about the corner. I think it was mainly about the fact that there was no lake. They went, Baby's cabin is there, so you can see Baby's cabin. The actual, the lodge where they pull up, you can see where they pull up to it. I mean, it's an actual hotel there.
If you go to this place's website, which I don't know, Mountain Lake Lodge, the main picture is, you'll see it and you'll be like, oh yeah, that's Dirty Dancing.
And they have an actual big sign that says welcome to Kellerman's, and then underneath it says Mountain Lake Lodge,
That's awesome.
Pembroke, Virginia. So of course we had our pictures taken there.
Yeah.
Lots of pictures I'll show to Ed after.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll have to post some of those if you
For sure.
allow us.
Absolutely.
At WIF Movie Podcast on Twitter. So then did you go to the group dance lessons?
I didn't really go to the lessons. I wasn't so into the group dance lessons. I don't remember what we were doing at the time. We may have been eating lunch or something. But there was, I mean, some of the things we did, they had scavenger hunt the very last day. They had...
So what did the scavenger hunt involve?
It was taking pictures of the different sites that we had already seen, and whoever kind of got there first. You didn't really win anything. You had to find a blow up watermelon, and I mean it was a lot of what we had already kind of done throughout the weekend.
Right.
So it was getting a little bit old towards the end, but it was a lot of fun. We had a really good time.
And then it says private dance lessons. What's that all about?
I guess that's if you wanted to have a private dance lesson, but we of course did not do that either.
So at any point did they play the I Had the Time of My Life song and somebody lifted somebody else up in perfect unison with the music?
They did not.
What?
No. Well, here's the thing, is that you're seeing mostly women at these weekends.
Oh, okay.
The men that are there are kind of there because their women want them to be there.
I gotcha.
They want to try to make it a romantic weekend. I mean,
Right.
people, it's an actual functioning lodge hotel. People get married up there. They have events and stuff like that. And you can really go to the lodge anytime. You don't have to really go for the Dirty Dancing weekend. You can give yourself your own tour because they have the markers all around the property.
That's
and you can
awesome.
see where all the things are, and they can give you a map of where it all is. But, for the actual Dirty Dancing themed weekend, to get all of these other activities and get all your meals included, then you got to pay for that. But other than that, I mean, there was a lot of women, so you don't see a lot of women who were lifting each other up. And it was a very diverse
And
crowd.
isn't that the problem with society? Women don't lift each other up.
That's exactly right, Ed. I'm glad you brought up that point.
You're welcome. So you had a good time.
But we had a great time. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it was a little chilly, it was rainy, whatever, but it was a good time.
It's
it was
awesome
a nice
to see
weekend
these
away
things.
with my friends.
It's
too.
awesome to see something like, holy crap, that's in this movie
Yes.
that I sat on my living room floor and watched when I was 14 years old.
Yes.
And here it sits.
And to be home and to watch the movie when it comes when it comes on the TV constantly, anytime it's on the TV and I watch it,
It's actually on right now as we're recording this. No lie, it's on VH1 right now.
Of course it is. But we will, anyway, anytime that I see it though, I'm like, I was there, I was in that room, or I was on that gazebo, or I know where I was at Baby's cabin, or, oh, look, there's a lake with water
That's
in
awesome.
it.
Yeah.
So yes, it's just interesting and exciting to say that it's definitely an experience.
It's not a favorite of mine. I saw it the other night for this show, and then I don't think I'd seen it since I was a kid. And
Yeah.
I would be totally down with going to see all this stuff. I love all that kind of stuff.
Like I said, it probably might be cheaper during a time that's not a Dirty Dancing weekend anyway.
True. Because it was, the website says it's $399 for 2 people for 2018 dates. So
maybe
yes.
the prices went up.
Yeah.
But ours was maybe, because it was 3 of us sharing a little 1-bedroom cabin, so we were about maybe $350 a person with everything.
And that included your food?
That included food. No alcohol, but I mean, you can buy alcohol separately. But yeah, I mean.
But the drinks were not named after the movie.
They were not named after the movie.
Who cares, right? There was no Hungry Eyes cocktail or
nope.
She's Like the Wind martini.
Not that I can recall, no.
Lost opportunity, guys.
Right? Marketing. Come on, people.
Yeah. 2018 dates are in April, June, July, August, and you can go to their website and find out. It's Jackie approved.
Yes.
It sounds awesome.
Yes.
I would love to do that.
Good time, for sure.
And just real quick on Dirty Dancing, of course, 30 years old. How I can't get over that.
Yeah.
You got Jennifer Grey and Patrick Swayze there in it. Patrick Swayze, my old neighbor, like I always like to mention, lived right down the road from here. Jerry Orbach, the great Jerry Orbach, is Jennifer Grey's father. What's his name?
Jerry.
Dr.
Houseman.
Dr. Houseman.
Yes.
And of course, his greatest role of all time is that of
Lumiere from Beauty and the Beast,
yes,
of course.
the cartoon Beauty and the Beast.
Yes.
Did you see the new Beauty and the Beast? I know you're a big Beauty and the Beast fan.
The one with Emma.
Yeah.
I have not seen it yet. Really bad.
It's not really bad. It's just
not really good.
it's not the why like we said before, why remake it?
Right.
It's perfect the way it was.
Because it's live action, I guess.
And as soon as that movie starts and she starts singing, it's like, okay, this is cool. And then as soon as she takes one note differently than the movie,
bad.
The cartoon, I was like, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm good.
See, my problem is that I can only see her as Hermione Granger. So
There you go.
That's,
Yeah.
That's an issue.
Wayne Knight's in this movie.
Yes,
Which I didn't even
Newman.
know. Yeah, Newman. Also Big Al in Toy Story 2.
Oh, okay.
That's my go-to for him. Also, Michael Jordan's publicist in Space Jam. Don't forget that too. And then, the first note I wrote down when I was watching this the other night: Dirty Dancing is not a musical. Let's just put that on the table. Just like the AT-ATs are not called AT-ATs in Star Wars, Dirty Dancing is not a musical.
Not a musical.
You agree?
It has music in it. It has
is
great
a
soundtrack.
It is a musical film.
Yes.
But it is not a musical.
It is a dancing movie, thus the name Dirty Dancing,
Right.
not Dirty Singing.
So just because
Dirty Singing is a
there's a
different
lot
thing.
of music in it, and they've redone it as a musical, they've done it as a play.
Yes.
When they remade the movie recently for yeah.
God, so bad.
Why?
Why? I just my eyes. Ow. Just bad.
It stung?
But I kept it on just because I was hoping and praying that it was going to get better, and it just didn't, and it got worse. And
When we were little, when we were younger, growing up, whatever, up until recently, things would come out and you wouldn't even know it was a remake. You'd be like I can't think of anything offhand, but movies would come out and you'd be like, oh, that's a remake of a 1940 film. Oh, I didn't know that. That makes sense. But now they're remaking things that were fine the first time. There's no point in remaking a hit movie. It was a hit because
right.
it was fine.
Right.
I'm preaching to the choir. You're
Right.
yeah,
Yes.
I know. But Red Dawn, they remade Red Dawn
did
also
they?
with Patrick Swayze and Jennifer
right,
Grey.
Exactly.
And and then Adventures in Babysitting they did last year.
God, so bad.
My eyes stung.
I mean, I will say there have been the only thing that I think was a good remake that I've seen was Hairspray.
Ah, yes.
I will say the original Hairspray, the John Waters film, I think that was excellent. It wasn't a musical at the
Right.
time. It was just a film, but it was great. And then it became a musical, and then they made the movie of the musical.
Yes.
So I thought that was actually good. And then they did the live, NBC Live
Right.
of Hairspray, and I thought even that was good. But when they did the NBC Live of
Anything else?
Anything else? Peter
Sound of
Pan,
Music?
Sound of Music.
That Sound of Music was
all
long.
kind of bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So anyway, but yeah, Hairspray, anything I think has been pretty good. So yay John Waters, yay Baltimore.
I think that Dirty Dancing movie that was on started off as it was going to be a live thing, and then they just went and made it a movie.
It would have
Yeah.
been so bad. It's already bad.
In the fall, they're doing Little Mermaid live on
Oh,
ABC.
wow.
So I will watch that.
Of course you will.
And then not like it probably. So, and then one last note on Dirty Dancing, I wrote down a lot of skin in that movie. A lot of skin. A lot of
Scandalous.
shirtless Swayze. A lot of Jennifer Grey midriff. I had such a crush on Jennifer Grey, as I'm sure every girl did on Patrick Swayze.
Somebody actually told me when I was at the Dirty Dancing weekend that they thought that I would have made a good baby because at the time I had my hair curly,
There
and
you
they're
go.
like, "Oh, you look like you could have been her." I'm like, "Oh, because my big Jewish nose." Thanks. I have not had a nose job as she has, but anyway, I digress.
There you go. Well, she had a life-altering nose job. If you've seen a picture of her lately.
Oy.
But yeah, there's just a lot of shots where the camera kind of lingers on her belly, and he's naked half the time. And
Which, if you really think about the ages of how they were supposed to be portrayed, that I think she was supposed to be about 16, and maybe he was 21, 22, maybe a little older. It seems a little pervy.
a little bit,
A little pervy, a little statutory rapey.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Good times.
Good times.
So, yeah, Dirty Dancing weekend. Guys, if you've ever attended a movie-related event or taken a movie-inspired vacation/trip, we'd love to hear about it. Drop us a line on Twitter at WIF Movie Podcast or Facebook, or shoot us an email, favemoviepodcast. So so I'm going to skip this page of notes about all the Dirty Dancing spin-offs,
Yeah.
like Dancing Havana Nights,
Never saw it.
the TV show that was on for 10 episodes that I loved when I was a
Oh,
kid, or the video cassette Swayze Dancing. We'll skip all of that.
Lovely.
There it is, the Lake Lure, North Carolina is
Lake
where the
Lure,
rest of the
okay,
I knew I
there we
wrote it
go.
down somewhere. Dirty Dancing Festival.
Yep.
We won't even mention Dirty Dancing, the classic story on stage, which is a musical.
Ugh.
But since it's what's your favorite movie, let's talk about some of your other favorite movies since Dirty Dancing's not. And I said, give me I always tell people, give me 3 or 5 of your favorite movies. Jackie gave me 27, which is fine.
I gave you a few genres.
Genres,
Yeah,
yes.
or a few categories.
So I don't know if it was subliminal the way you listed them, but you put Christopher Guest first.
I love Christopher Guest movies. Princess. Even though that wasn't really a Christopher Guest movie, he was in it. I do love Princess Bride. I love Spinal Tap.
I actually noticed his name in Star Trek 2 last night when I saw it. I don't know where he was in
All
that,
right,
but
then.
yeah, he obviously
Maybe he was like a producer or something.
he was yeah,
he was a background guy.
guy with a big fake mustache.
Right?
We should shoot this, but Best in Show is
Best in Show,
is the best.
Waiting for Guffman,
Is awesome.
any of those movies really. A Mighty Wind. They're all. Those ensemble casts are hilarious. And here's the thing: it's just kind of offshoot of that. Eugene Levy, who
Yes.
is in those movies as well. Not sure if you have seen the show. It's been on Pop TV. Do you have Pop TV?
Schitt's Creek.
Yes. Oh my God.
Is it good?
Oh my God, it's hilarious.
First of all, I do have Pop TV because I am obsessed with The Love Boat. Thank you very much.
I was watching that a couple times yesterday myself. But yes,
Loves me some Love
if you have
Boat.
not seen Schitt's Creek, it is-
SCHITTS.
Yes.
That's their last name, I
That's
guess.
their last name. Yes.
Okay. Still keeping our G
not
rating.
their last name. It's the mayor of the town. His name is Roland Shit.
Oh, jeez. All right.
Sorry.
No, it's
Sorry,
all right.
kids. Played by what's the guy's name? Oh shoot. Oh, it's bugging me now. Anyway. But anyway.
Fred Willard.
No, not that guy. The guy
Oh.
he was in Groundhog Day. He was the camera guy.
Oh, Chris Elliott.
Thank
Yes.
you. Yes. So anyway, he's in that show as well. He plays Roland Shit. But no, this guy.
That's a good pun
Eugene
right there,
Levy.
folks.
Right. Eugene Levy, his family, they're big and rich. And as a joke, they bought this town called Schitt's Creek. And then they just ended up going bankrupt for something or other. So they ended up having to live there because they own the town. So they live in the motel. Anyway, it's a hilarious show. If you get the chance to see it, I highly recommend.
But Christopher Guest is not
Christopher
involved.
Guest, he's not involved, but Eugene Levy, because he's part of the Christopher Guest movies, it's got that
Yes.
same kind of humor. And Catherine O'Hara also in that movie.
If you've never seen the Christopher Guest films, they're ad-libbed to a great extent.
Yes.
And they all have almost the same core cast of a lot of people. So many great.
Yes, Jennifer Coolidge, Jane Lynch. You've got
Ed Begley Jr. always pops
Ed
up.
Begley Jr.,
Love
Michael
some
McKean.
Ed Begley Jr.
Yeah, fantastic cast, hilarious, and highly recommend any of those movies. Yeah,
Best in Show and Waiting for Guffman are the two best of the.
yeah Best
of
in
the
Show is
whole.
my favorite.
And yeah, is mine too. But Waiting for Guffman is painfully funny if you've ever done community theater. They nailed skewering community theater. Let me skip down to this subgenre that you gave me: movies with great soundtracks.
Yes,
which is not a section you would have found in Errol's, but you put two movies on here that are kind of forgotten. Singles. 1992.
Oh man, that is my 90s. Oh my god.
Who was in that? Bridget Fonda.
Matt
who's
Damon.
Smoking hot.
Yes.
Matt Damon.
That's really they were
Are they the two
name.
big ones?
Oh god, what was the dude's name?
I think
Campbell Scott
Oh,
was
yeah.
in that movie.
There's got to be another girl. Kira Sedgwick.
Kira Sedgwick.
Yes.
Yes, she was in it. But just Ben Stiller was in that movie. No, that was Reality Bites.
Which
that
is
was
the
Reality
other
Bites.
one you put. That
Right.
they're both at Reality Bites too. Reality Bites was such a big hit,
Yes,
and they're
'cause
kind
it
of
just-
forgotten about now.
Because
You
I
never.
was that age when they came out.
Yeah.
It was about the people that were that age. And that's the music. You got Eddie Vedder, Pearl Jam and Soundgarden and Alice in Chains. This was the grunge scene, and that was my music at the time. So that movie just,
Do you think a superior soundtrack can elevate a mediocre film?
I think so. If something has...
It's okay. Go ahead.
If something has a great soundtrack, it's even if it's a crappy movie, I tend to like it a little bit more because of the music. So yeah, anything from the '90s really is to me with the soundtrack of the '90s. That just reminds me of college years.
Reality Bites is
Another one.
That's Ben Stiller.
That's Ben Stiller.
Winona
That's
Ryder.
Winona Ryder. Janine Garofalo.
Man, I need to rewatch that. I haven't seen that in
Yes.
forever.
Yeah, that's a thing. What's his name? Oh God.
Andy Dick? No.
No. Oh God. I can't believe I don't. This guy's name is not coming to me. But anyway.
That's a while ago. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, again, great soundtrack and just a great movie. I mean, that's the age I was at the time the movies came out. So.
And you also put Fast Times at Ridgemont High, which I adore.
Yeah.
Such a great movie.
Pretty much like any Cameron Crowe movie, you know? I mean,
Almost Famous.
Almost Famous. The soundtrack from that. I mean, the soundtrack from even Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I mean, Spicoli, you know?
Yes.
I mean, Sean Penn at his greatest, you know? Judge Reinhold.
Yeah.
I mean, Jennifer Jason Leigh. She was just such a cutie.
Yep.
You know? Just the music. And then obviously a cameo appearance by Nancy Wilson of Heart, you know?
Oh, really?
She was married to Cameron Crowe.
Who is she in the movie?
Remember when he's driving down Judge Reinhold's character is like delivering the pirate outfit, and he like pulls up to this lady in a Camaro.
Oh, okay.
That's Nancy Wilson.
Nice.
In a Camaro. She had a cameo.
And I always make fun of you for this on Facebook. How many times have you seen Heart in concert?
Maybe like 5 or 6 times. I mean, it's not as many as you think.
No,
I've seen
I know.
Aerosmith
I thought it was
more.
Oh, okay.
But,
I thought it was in at least 10. How many times have you seen Aerosmith? I've asked you all
that's
this.
probably about 10.
Nice.
Yeah, if not a little, maybe around
Has
that.
Aerosmith's never made a movie?
They've been in Wayne's World too.
That's true. Okay. There you go.
There you go.
There you go. And we were talking, of course, about Disney World earlier. You've never been on the Aerosmith roller coaster?
I have not been to Disney World since I was
too
10.
long. Come on.
Okay, so last time I went to Disney World was when Epcot first opened. So if that tells you anything about my age, yeah. So it's been a long time, and I really need to go back. I need to go to that. I need to go to the Harry Potter World.
There you go.
Yes.
Harry Potter World.
Yes.
2 words, or maybe 1 word. Butterbeer.
I heard it was too sweet though. Everyone's like it was like ridiculously sweet.
No, it was ridiculously wonderful and delicious. You have Harry Potter on your list too.
Yes, I read the books first, all of the books before the movies. I feel books usually are pretty much better than movies, but they really were pretty true, to the books for most of the movies. But I don't know. I love Harry Potter. I always wanted to be a witch or a wizard or whatever. I always wanted to have magical powers.
We were not into Harry Potter at all in this house, and then we went to Universal Studios and walked into it and were like, wow, this must be something if we knew what it was or whatever. And maybe about an hour there, my kids were like, okay, I want to read the books. And as soon as we got home, they read them and we started watching the movies. And they are good. So I have crossed the line on Harry Potter into the world of Harry Potter.
Yes.
You also got Kevin Smith on here.
Love me some Kevin Smith.
Yes.
You askew. Heck yes.
Rank the Kevin Smith films.
Oh,
the
wow.
top 3.
I really love Dogma. I think that's probably one of my favorites. Probably followed by Clerks. I'm not a big fan of Mallrats. Mallrats was okay. Clerks 2 was pretty raunchy and hilarious. There's always Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Oh, it's great. Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would say Chasing Amy's my favorite.
Chasing Amy. Oh, I was Chasing Amy. I love that one too. Yeah.
And when those were coming out, like, you saw them as they were coming out for the most part?
For the most part, yeah.
And like, you didn't realize they were going to all be connected. So Chasing Amy goes on for almost 2 hours before it kind of swings back and connects to Mallrats and with Jay and Silent Bob. Mm-hmm. So great.
Yes.
So fun.
Brilliant.
And his last couple of movies were kind of unwatchable.
Yeah. I think after Jersey Girl was just not kind of a real Kevin Smithy kind of movie.
Yeah.
And it just kind of went
like
down
him
from there.
doing like a Hollywood movie. And then he did like a cop movie with Bruce Willis. And,
no, stick with what you know.
You got Brat Pack on here. I like how you gave me. It's like, what's your favorite movie categories?
Yeah, I mean, there's always. Oh, we forget.
No, it's all right. I got it.
So, I mean, John Hughes movies, anything, Molly Ringwald, Judd Nelson, all them, Ali Sheedy and Anthony Michael Hall, Andrew Grant, like all of those. I mean, that's again my youth.
I just saw 16 Candles for the first time last year, which I know is a crime. Again. And then I was like, how did I not watch this on repeat when I was little? Same when I saw Karate Kid for the first time this year.
That's one of my wife's favorite movies because she loves Elizabeth Shue.
As do I. Do I. Yes. Then you got the SNL films you put down.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much anything with like Will Ferrell or like, Tina Fey and Kristen Wiig.
You said Wayne's World.
Wayne's World, yes.
Bridesmaids.
Bridesmaids.
Baby Mama?
Baby Mama's a good one. Yes, I do like Baby Mama. Wayne's World's probably like one of my faves, though. Absolute faves.
Yes.
Again, soundtrack is great for that, and I mean,
And it spawned paved the way for so many horrible movies like It's Pat and
and Ladies Man.
Ladies Man and I love the Superstar movie, but it's
Superstar was cute.
yeah, none of them are like Wayne's World's a
But they're not Wayne's
masterpiece.
World.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely.
Yeah.
You got Monty Python on here.
Monty Python's always classic.
Yes.
Yes.
Just showed my son Holy Grail for the first time.
Nice.
He liked Love Actually. That's just its own category.
It is because again, soundtrack. I do love the soundtrack. Are we running low on time?
We're good.
We're good.
Well, we're low, but
yeah.
we're good.
But yeah, I do love the soundtrack. I just it's a good love Christmassy movie, and I like British rom-coms, like stuff like
Who
that.
doesn't?
Who doesn't love a good British rom-com? Like Hugh Grant movies, and
That's
stuff
one of
like
those
that.
movies like Dirty Dancing that kind of is like building popularity as time goes on. Like it's kind of a bona fide Christmas classic now.
They're gonna have 24 hours of Love Actually instead
There
of
you go.
24 hours of A Christmas Story.
Where's 24 hours of Dirty Dancing? Probably on VH1 next week.
I think they probably had it during the anniversary of
Probably.
Dirty Dancing. Yeah.
24 hours of Ladies Man.
Whole bunch of nope.
Step Brothers, Talladega Nights.
Yes.
Step Brothers is
There's just so many like great like funny lines.
Yeah.
I mean, my wife and I are always kind of bouncing back and forth with each other with some of those lines, and it's hilarious. I mean, we can watch it over and over again, and it still cracks us up.
Talladega Nights, more than one occasion I have said grace over dinner with the please bless the Lord,
baby
baby Jesus, wrapped in his swaddling clothes, watching Baby Einstein videos.
Good stuff. Yeah, we're always I'm gonna come at you like a spider monkey.
And then you put Judd Apatow.
Yeah, so like This Is 40,
Knocked Up.
Those kind of movies. I mean, they're super funny. And, now that I'm getting older, those things are also becoming a little more relevant,
Yes.
and relevant and funny.
This Is 40 was like scarily relatable.
I mean, I don't have kids, but for everything else, it was pretty relatable.
I think it came out when we like the year we hit 40, didn't it? Or pretty darn close.
Just
if
around
not.
there. Yeah.
Yikes!
Yes, but yeah, I have a lot of favorites. I mean, there's always classics. Back to the Future movies. Those are my wife's favorites. Also, Princess Bride.
Elizabeth Shue again in
Elizabeth
Back to the Future.
Yes, because she was in the second one. She
Right,
wasn't in the
right.
first one, but she was in the second and third one.
Yeah.
Or second one anyway. But yes, love Elizabeth Shue. And how are we doing on time?
3 minutes.
3 more minutes. Yeah. So.
Do we have time for my game? Probably not.
Game? What's your game?
Dirty or Dancing?
Okay.
Are you ready?
Go for it.
I'm going to tell you the movie title. You tell me if it's a movie about music or a movie about gratuitous with gratuitous nudity.
Okay.
Dirty or Dancing. You get it?
Uh-huh.
Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
Dancing.
Yes. 1985. Sarah Jessica Parker and Helen Hunt auditioned
Yes.
for Dance TV.
Loved it.
Do or Die.
Never heard of it, so I'm going to go dirty.
Dirty, 1991 action film starring Pat Morita, Eric Estrada, and 1984 Ms. March playmate Donna Spear.
Wow.
Hot Chili.
I'm going to guess dirty.
Dirty, 1985 American teenage boys work at a Mexican resort for the summer. You Got Served.
That's dancing.
Dancing, yes. 2004 a dance battle erupts in Steve Harvey's garage. Hard to Hold.
Dancing?
Oh, look, it comes up with a little telling you that you're going to run out of time.
Okay.
Hard to Hold. Dance, yes, 1984. After a concert, rock star Rick Springfield has a car accident and meets the girl of his dreams.
Lovely.
That Thing You Do.
That was dancing.
Dancing. Tom Hanks manages a 1964 one-hit wonder band. School Spirit.
I'm going to guess dirty.
Dirty, 1985. High schooler Billy dies in a car accident, comes back to school as a ghost, and visits the girls' locker room. You got 7 out of 7.
Ding, 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 ding,
You're
ding.
the dirty champion right there.
Awesome.
All right. Well, the way we're recording this, okay, it's still running. Good God. We've had so many technical difficulties. I'm so
I think
paranoid.
we have like a minute and a half.
Yes. Jackie, thank you so much for coming up. I'm sorry we had to race through it a second time, but
But we had a good time.
yeah,
This was
good times.
stuff.
And you're the dirty dancing champion there. Well, I don't know what that means.
What do I get? I get the sweatshirt.
You get the sweatshirt
that I
you're
got from
wearing.
Dirty Dancing
yes.
Weekend. It says,
we'll have to
"No, leave this baby
post.
in the corner."
We'll post some pictures on Twitter, guys, of all
Yes.
of your swag, of your Dirty Dancing swag and whatnot, and maybe some pictures from the trip.
Yeah.
But thanks a lot for coming up. That was awesome of you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Good times. I'd love to do this again for other movies.
And did you want to plug your realty business? Do you want to give them your number or anything? Or
You can find me
You don't have to.
at jackiegarber.boblucidoteam.com or my Facebook page at Jackie Garber Real Estate.
we'll post a link on Twitter as well.
There you go.
All right. Well, Jackie, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks, Ed. Great to see you.
Folks, share the show on social media, Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. Twitter at WYF Movie Podcast. We'll have another episode hopefully Wednesday, October 4th, so be there for that. Until then, it's khaki wishes and cookie dreams. Thanks for listening.